Welcome to Which is Best. This week, books. Which is the best book? Now, again, I've got an expert panel to help us decide which is best book. Now, what do you look for in a book? Do you want your book to be based on maybe real historic events? Maybe learn as you read? Maybe to be fantasy and offer no limits to your imagination? Do you want murder, mystery, suspense, bit of gore, or even romance? When you read, it is a ticket into a secret world. Now, which is best?
Hi there, so which is the best book? Well, my choice is Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. It's the first book in the His Dark Materials trilogy. It tells the story of Lyra Belacqua, one of my favourite heroines of all time, who discovers the secrets of a mysterious device called an alethiometer, which allows her to work out the truth about everything that's around her. It involves travel to other worlds, it involves love, it involves discovery, and it leads you on an incredible journey through all sorts of different places into the second book in the trilogy, The Subtle Knife. I know I'm not allowed more than one book, and maybe the third book as well. So lots of exciting stories within the His Dark Materials trilogy. If you like armoured polar bears, flying hot air balloons, talking animals which form part of the human soul, and one of the most amazing adventures you're ever going to read, then I would recommend Northern Lights by Philip Pullman, the first book of the His Dark Materials trilogy.
So my favourite book is probably not as well known because it's Australian. The Bone Sparrow is narrated by a boy who's been born in an immigration detention centre. So he doesn't know what a bed is, he's never had chocolate, but he does have optimism and an imagination. So this book is funny, heartwarming, shocking, and at times uncomfortable. It's not a fairy tale where everything works out fine and every character is perfect, but it has really important themes. It talks about the refugee experience, amazing friendships, supportive families, courage. And my favourite thing about this book is that three of the main characters, who are all children or teenagers, they commit an act of activism. So they actively do something to bring about social change and make the world a better place.
Hi all, Ms. Lowry here. I would like to convince you that one of my favourite books, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, is the best book ever written, and that you should all read it. It's a magical tale about always following your dream and overcoming challenges and adversity along the way. The story centres around a young Spanish shepherd called Santiago who goes on an adventure by foot from Spain down to Egypt on the search for hidden treasure. Along the way, he meets so many different people and is presented with a range of different difficulties and experiences, all of which help him grow and fulfil his personal destiny. One particularly poignant bit of the book is towards the end of Santiago's journey. Just as he's about to reach his treasure, he's stopped by a gang of thieves who beat him up and take all of his possessions. He's left with nothing, dozing in and out of consciousness. But then later in the story, we find out that if that mugging hadn't happened at that exact moment, then Santiago would have almost definitely have been killed by a lurking murderer who was waiting for his next victim just down the road. And so the moral of the story is that every single thing that happened to Santiago on his treasure hunt was moving him that little bit closer to his own pot of gold. All the good stuff, the bad stuff, and even the awful experience of being beaten up and mugged. Those thieves unintentionally saved his life. Through this, Coelho points out that it can be hard to take some of the horrible things that happen to us, but there is often a bigger picture that we haven't realised, and so this book gives us hope. And why should you read it? Well, to begin with, it's relatable. Okay, we aren't all Spanish shepherds, but we do all experience setbacks and we have the ability to achieve our dreams. It teaches us we should believe in ourselves and trust the signs that we're given. I found this message to be rather life-changing when I read it. Also, it's short but sweet, at only 164 pages long, and whilst it's written so poetically, it's also super easy to understand. And it's one of the most popular books ever as well. Over 65 million copies have been sold, and it's been published in 80 languages and even as a graphic novel. Celebrities like Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, and Pharrell Williams recommend it, so you don't even just have to take my word for it. And so the question is, does Santiago ever find his treasure? Does he become the alchemist referenced in the title? Alchemy, by the way, is the ability to turn base metal into gold. Seems like a metaphor to me, but hey, what would I know? I'm only an English teacher, and in my opinion, the curtains are never just blue. Anyway, I don't want to ruin the ending for you or reveal the twist, so you'll have to read it to find out for yourself. And if you do, please let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so why is Harry Potter the best? Many reasons, but I think Potter has just transformed the world for young children. The wizarding world that she creates is just an incredible universe. There's amazing characters. Hermione, like strong, intelligent, funny girl. The kind of slightly clumsy, slightly crazy Ron, and the kind of resourceful, imaginative Harry as well. The settings, Diagon Alley, who can forget places like this? I think Potter's the one that just seems to, for me, to have captured so many people's hearts, and not least kind of my own and my family's as well.
Hi everybody. The book I'd like to recommend is called The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas. For any of you who've read it, you'll know why it's such an amazing story. But for those of you who don't, I think it meets the 3 tests that set aside a truly great book. For me, a great book needs to do 3 things. It needs to entertain, it needs to inform, and lastly, it needs to educate with a key message for humanity. And that's what this book does. It's a story about Bruno, an 8-year-old boy in the early stages of World War II, who moves from his very comfortable home in Berlin and goes on a very exciting and new adventure, and ends up finding things that he never ever would have ever imagined. It's a truly astounding book, and it reminds us that whoever we are, whatever race, whatever attitude, whatever religion we follow, we're all human and we all have a shared humanity. So if you haven't read the book, you might read it in year 8, but certainly it's worth a look, and that's why it gets my vote for the best book for all time.
And The Stars Are Burning Brightly is a book that I would recommend more for year 9 and above students, so Key Stage 4. This is about Nate. It's one of my favourite books that I've read so far this year. He is grieving because his older brother took his own life, and Nate is determined to find out why he did it. He has this mystery to uncover, and throughout this journey he forms a connection with Megan because she can understand how he feels, because a year ago she also lost her father. This is ultimately compelling. I couldn't stop reading it. It's really thought-provoking. It has lots of references to art, so if you love art. It also has references to science, which wouldn't usually appeal to me, but it worked really well in this. They used it in a really poetic way. It has themes of grief, both toxic and healthy friendships, cyberbullying, coming out, and also class, because the characters in here get wrongfully judged because of where they come from.
Well, you've heard the arguments. Which is the best book? Now remember, if you want to vote, in the description you'll see a link, and just check when voting closes. Which is best?
If you enjoyed that video, please like and subscribe or leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I've been RMS Maths, and I'll see you next time. Maths out.